Jason Paul,
Now, I want to say it's because I rode with him and I did some laps with him to give him some advice. It's 100% not that. Super consistent. Literally every single time that I looked up from my clipboard and making notes, he's in the right section of the track. He's in drift, making very little mistakes. I only have one mark for lost drift once. So, solo run competition, killed it.
So for that event, that was technically the first actual competition that I joined. So, you know, going into it, wasn't really sure what to do, but you were trying to take it somewhat seriously. During practice, we actually lost our handbrake, so we did the entire competition without a handbrake. So it took a little bit of adjusting and learning a new way to drive, which in actuality helped me. Or having less items to use, you know, so like no handbrake. Yep. It helps you like learn how to drive the car a little bit more with, you know, just throttle or, you know, angle. So you kind of like you kind of fall back. You don't have to fall back on relying on, you know, things to help you that way. The way the car was working that day, even with the handbrake actually not working, probably improved my driving to help me with. Like it made me focus more on line and everything, and that's honestly where probably the reason I drove better, just because I was focusing more on line and not using the handbrake to you know, get myself out of those situations. So for our class, it was happening during qualifying. So it was qualifying for the tandem class, and then it was technically our competition during the qualifying. So we had 30 minutes to drive the entire time. So it wasn't just like three laps. It was the entire session, and they were trying to average out, you know, your laps. So it wasn't like, you know, you can have a really good one and then a bunch of messy ones. They wanted to see consistency. They're pretty much, they wanted us to develop to the point where, you know, your driving is good enough to where a pro driver can follow you. I was pretty surprised. I actually didn't, like, I knew I did really well, probably like top 3. Like I always, you know, aim to be, well, one of the better ones, but I never truly think that I'm the best. So I was not expecting to hear my name called. Well, I think everyone knows drifting's not cheap, so probably that financial part of, like, you know, not being able to work during this time, it affected it more than anything. We are pretty lucky here in Southern California. There's events going on even through the pandemic, but, you know, without the financials to keep, like, you know, something like this going, that's where the struggle is. Well, it kind of makes you think, like, I've always been into into cars and driving and stuff. So like, it kind of made me try to figure out what my priorities are. Like, do I really want, like, I had this opportunity right now to see if I really wanted to just, you know, keep working and, you know, just you know, grind in normal 9 to 5, or you know, with this opportunity, maybe make something of it. So with that is kind of why I went to the rapping stuff, you know, just to see if I can make something, you know, during this opportunity that's, you know, unprecedented. It's just the platform. It's very light and nimble. You know, everything specifically for me has been near perfect. So like, I've driven Miatas where I feel like I'm a little too big for the Miata. My feet get stuck on the other side of the dash, you know. Like say like a Mustang where I wasn't really happy, like a 2000 Mustang, I wasn't really happy with the clutch pedal. Like it kind of really springs back on you in the last bit of the travel. So it's just something that everything just kind of worked out for me, for my liking. You know, the driving position, the way the car handled, and at the time the price point. Motor's pretty much stock, so everything's technically street legal here. Cooling systems all fully upgraded, power steering, everything's completely changed. Whatever's required from the state to stay factory is factory, everything else is modified. So from factory it's 155, but you know that's 91, so who knows what it is now. So Wisefab fronts with Fortunato 500 coilovers all around. That day, that was the first time I ever used a suede steering wheel. Actually, it wasn't that bad. I thought it was, personally, I always thought that, you know, I heard a suede, you know, might give you like a rug burn. I didn't have any issues with that. So like, you know, on that specific day, I wasn't driving with gloves or anything yet. So I had no issues with that. But interestingly enough, the next two events for Driftly, because there were only 3 for that year, I had power steering issues. So on the second event, I had no power steering for the entire event. It broke during practice, and I got it to run, and we tried, you know, to be competitive and drove the car without power steering. You know, I don't know, like some people probably heard of like other wheels that, you know, the construction isn't that well. This wheel without power steering and with the Wisefab, which makes it even harder to steer, it survived 2 events where it had no power steering and no issues. It's still perfectly straight. It's not weird and bent or out of shape at all. Yeah, so the JDM Sport steering wheel worked flawlessly during all those rounds. So this is, you know, this is mostly like personally fine. Like I paid for everything here, mostly. Recently got some help. Big shout out to my sponsors though. Thanks to FIRM400 and JDM Sport, Force Wave Designs. We're trying to build a program here and actually, you know, maybe compete one day at like a pro-am level or something like that. But you know, we're just starting from the ground up right now. And you know, if you ever see us at the tracks, you know, go ahead, come up to me and let's see if we can get you a ride along or something. So yeah, this signature right here is from Ryan Turk. I got him to sign, you know, this M plate, which is a little bit damaged because that damage is from the wall ride that I did at Willow Springs.